All right, our lesson this week is from Luke chapter 15, verse 11. It's the parable of the lost son. Jesus has been teaching, and he has a story about a man and his two sons. The younger one comes up to his dad and says, "Excuse me, frog, I want my half of the inheritance." And I guess he's been pestering his dad for a while because the father takes half of what he has and gives it to the son. We all know then that the son takes what he has and he goes off and travels the world. Dad and the older brother stay at the house and keep working with what they have. And there's the other brother that stays home and does a lot of work. The younger son travels, he sees the world, and he spends all of his money. Has to sell his car. Well, not long after that, a famine hits the land, and he is hungry. He doesn't have any of the fine stuff that he spent his money on, and this is a little more difficult than I thought it would be. He ends up working for a pig farmer. And he's working with the pigs, feeding them every morning, feeding them every night. And he starts thinking, man, if I could, my servants at my dad's house have plenty to eat. Here I am, I'm dirty, I'm hungry. I even want to eat this slop that the pigs are eating. And he starts thinking of a way to go back home. You see, but by taking his inheritance, that was kind of a big thing. And so he has to apologize to his dad. He comes up with this idea. He says, "Dad, forgive me. I've sinned against you and against heaven. Can you forgive me? Can you let me work for you? Just be like a hired person, because I know I'll be treated better working for you than I am here with all these pigs." So with that in his mind and having practiced saying "I'm sorry" several times, he comes back. Can you make him go back to the house?
Yes.
Whoa, whoa. Hold on. He comes back to the house, and while he was a long way off, his dad sees him, and he runs to meet him. Gives him a big hug. Let's get the tractor out of there. Gives him a fancy new jacket, puts a ring on his hand, and he calls to one of his servants and says, "Hey, let's get a party started. My son was gone. He was lost, but now he's come home. He was dead to me before, being in that foreign land taking care of all the pigs. But now he's alive and he's come home. Let's have a party." Well, remember that older brother? Yeah, he's still out there taking care of the animals, working in the field. Can you make him work? Yeah, make him work. And he hears about this party. Bring him back to the house. And he says, "I've been here working for you every single day. Why does this young kid who wasted your money get a party?" Older brother is a little bit jealous. Have you been jealous before? Maybe of a friend or a brother or sister? It doesn't seem fair. But the dad has to explain that he's come home. He's part of the family. My son, the father said, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Now, when Jesus told this story, this was one of the stories that he made up for the people so they would understand something. We call it a parable. Some call it the parable of the loving father or the forgiving father, because when the young guy comes back, Dad forgives him. This is how we say that God forgives us. Sometimes we're demanding and we ask for things we don't deserve yet. We go and we waste the blessings that God's given us. But when we come back to God and say, I'm sorry, he always forgives us. Saying sorry isn't easy. Sometimes our pride gets in the way, or we want to think of excuses. But when we say sorry, God forgives us. So that is your lesson for today, because I think the playset is about to get trashed. Have a great day, guys.